darling, I love you.
Gonna wash my hands of you. Gonna wash my hands of you. Wash my hands of you. When you got me in your power, your kisses turn all sour. Oh, gonna wash my hands of you.
Scarlet begonias tucked into her curls. I knew right away she was not like other girls, other girls. In the thick of the evening when the dealer got rough, she was too packed to open and too cool to plug. As I picked up my matches and was closing the door, I had one of those flashes I'd been there before, been there before. Well, I ain't often right, but I've never been wrong. Seldom turns out the way it does in the song. Once in a while you get shown are scarlet begonias or a touch of the blues. And there's nothing wrong with the look that's in her eye. I had to learn the hard way to let it pass by, let it pass by. The wind in the willows played G for two. The sky was yellow and the sun was blue. Strangers stopping strangers just to shake their hand. Everybody's playing in the heart of gold band, heart of gold band.
Yeah, here comes Amos. Now Amos Moses was a Cajun. He lived by himself in the swamp. He hunted alligator for a living. He just knock him in the head with a stump. The Louisiana law gon' get you, Amos. It ain't legal hunting alligator down in the swamp, boy. Now everybody blamed his old man for making him mean as a snake. When Amos Moses was a boy, his daddy would use him for alligator bait. Tie a rope around his waist and throw him in the swamp. Alligator bait in the Louisiana bayou. About 45 minutes southeast of Tippy-Toe, Louisiana, lived a man called Doc Millsap and his pretty wife Hannah. Well, they raised up a son that could eat up his weight in groceries. Named him after a man of the cloth. Called him Amos Moses. Yeah. Now all the folks around South Louisiana said Amos was a hell of a man. He could trap the biggest, the meanest alligator and just use one hand. That's all he got left, called alligator bit it. Left arm gone clean up to the elbow. Well, the sheriff got wind that Amos was in the swamp trapping alligator skin. So he snuck in the swamp, gonna get the boy, but he never come out again. Well, I wonder where the Louisiana sheriff went to. Well, you can so get lost in the Louisiana bayou. About 45 minutes southeast of Tippy-Toe, Louisiana, lived a cat called Doc Millsap and his pretty wife Hannah. Well, they raised up a son that could eat up his weight in groceries. Named him after a man of the cloth. Called him Amos Moses. Sit down on him, Amos. Make it count, son. About 45 minutes southeast of Tippy-Toe, Louisiana, lived a man called Doc Millsap and his pretty wife.
All right, now, everybody, quiet, listen to me. We're going to start a show. Now, some of you people have been with me before. You know it's going to be a tough grind. You're going to dance until your feet fall off. You're not able to stand up any longer. But we're going to have a show.
Hello, Mixer. How we doing this evening? I will be your conductor tonight. We have chicken soup tonight. So we got our leftovers from chicken dinner on Friday. I've got a chicken carcass I've had chilling in the freezer that I defrosted. And I've got a bunch of wingtips left over. So this is just our using up stuff. We could do this just with the leftovers of a dinner. But I'm using it all up together. Gonna throw all this down together into the oven. I already got the oven at 400 degrees here. Want to get that going so that it doesn't take the whole stream. And start getting that all happy. Gonna do sort of like a two-part soup here. I'm gonna do a basic, I'm gonna sort of build the stock. We're gonna strain that off, and then we're gonna pull back any meat that we can find out of what little we got here. There ain't a ton of meat. You got the wings and some other pieces like that. Wow, I'm peeking a little bit here, a little bit too much. Maybe I should turn down my board mic just a hair. There we go. Going to start with veggies then, that we're going to use for our stock portion. This is leftover from Friday. Started debating how I want to cut this. That's why I'm taking my time here. I really want to do larger pieces that are likely going to go through a strainer than slices here today. I'm typically a fan of slicing my onions. I'm not a big fan of dicing them. It's a pain in the butt. Okay, so we got that. We'll take a little bit of ginger here. Some garlic. Give ourselves a good crush on all that garlic. Make sure it's all, oops, only do one or two at a time. That was my mistake there. I should have known better. Otherwise you get them flying everywhere. And if you have something that's safer than your knife to pound on, it's more of a force of habit for me myself. But getting that. So we got some good garlic there. We got some ginger. This is all going to get strained. And we're going to use an onion later, so the rest of the flavor. But we can keep the garlic or the onion skins on the top here for flavor. Not just flavor though, because skins. This is going to give us a really nice dark chicken stock. It's going to look like we roasted this for hours because I added this red skin to this. Not necessarily roasted, but cooked the stock for hours or days. And so I'm just going to throw in all the onion here that I don't want to use to the rest of it. There we go. Set that aside for later. You tear up the skins because otherwise they sit as giant floating fortresses on top of our liquid, so this way at least they'll be distributed. Probably infuse a little bit better. Make sure we don't have any dirt hiding down in these other layers here, or major mold or anything like that. Looking okay here for the most part. Yeah. Let's see, do I have a bottom of a celery to use? Let's take out some parsley. That's not what I can throw that in there too. We can use that with this tonight. We can maybe even use that with this tonight. Awesome. All sorts of goodies for dinner tonight that have just been kicking around in my fridge here. Oh yeah, this has got to go, but this is going to be perfect for stock. You guys are all going to cringe. You guys are all going to cringe. You got my old carrot here. This is the end of life. That's gonna go in with this. But yeah, let's get rid of that carrot. But yeah, perfect. Old nasty. Celery. Just empty out that fridge. Move the camera here a little bit. Hold on a sec. It's a little bit better. I'd moved it so I could get a better overall view of the stove the other night. Get this Rubbermaid rinse out here I used for the onion. Too much water in here. I was using this pot to defrost the chicken earlier. Which it's always a cheap hack for me. You know, you need to use a pot later on. Use that to defrost stuff so you don't have to worry about sanitizing. Just wipe it out. You're cooking with it anyways, you're going to bring it up to a boil. So we'll start sauteing all that loveliness on the board there in our pot here while the chicken continues, starting to smell that loveliness in the oven. Realizing now that I really should have salted all of that chicken when I didn't. Let's hold off on that. Let's throw it in the pot. Mike's probably not picking that up, but that is sizzling. Gonna do my best not to overload the pan right off the bat here. We are going to end up throwing this all in there, but let's get that other stuff warming up first. Got some parsley stems here. Use a bit more parsley for actual garnish at the end there, but this will work for right now. Do I have that too to throw in there maybe? Artifact, thank you for the host. Soaked. Gonna throw a couple whole cloves of garlic in, or a couple of whole peppercorns in here. Let's see. Just to be different, let's do a pinch of caraway because I got it in here. Small pinch. I've got some coriander seed. Otter Force, thank you for the host. Yeah, why not? Let's throw a couple. I've got a couple of, they're getting really up there in age, but dried bird's eye peppers. Just 2 of those guys. These are sort of one of the keys to a lot of the heat and a lot of Szechuan food. Anything else that I want for flavoring for bay leaves? Definitely bay leaves. Just throw a couple of these bad boys in there. Thank you. I appreciate that, Otter. What you making this evening? That's warmed up enough. I'm going to add another couple handfuls worth of dying refrigerator veg. Along with, there's garlic and ginger in there and all sorts of other lovely flavorings for our soup. And I've got all my onion peels in there, so it'll give all the stock a great color. And parsley stems. Hit that with a bit more cheap salt. This is for stock. I ain't gonna. Last night's chat about using salt making me rethink how much I'm using my fancy, expensive salt. Got about another 30 minutes here, so gonna be chilling like this probably a little bit. Gotta wait on that chicken to get lovely dark and roasted. Ooh, yum, 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 yum. I did something similar to that not too long ago. I don't remember if I turned the pork butt into tacos or burritos. Might have done both. I'm still working on my art of rolling them out is much to desire, but after learning how to make flour tortillas and how simple they are, I don't think I'm going back to store-bought ones other than maybe for burritos just because of size. I mean, my largest cast iron, which is on the back of the stove there, is okay for a taco size, but that ain't burrito size. I don't got something large enough and flat enough. Alright, man. Enjoy that loveliness. Love me some tacos. I wish I could stream them more often. Get people complaining I do the same thing, and my whole thing is trying to change things up, so. So I've got these leftover egg noodles, which have worked well for me, so I'm going to use these guys. Sorry, the bag probably looks horrible on camera, but those will work well with this. We'll do a bit more onion. We'll do baby green garlic. Since I got it, I'm going to use it up. I definitely got green onion. Didn't see any celery in there, so may have to skip the pretty celery and just use the ugly celery for the flavor. This is going to be a lovely time to add a little acid, a little vinegar. This will help give us a bit more umami to our soup. And it'll help deglaze the pan, though we're going to add more to that to help deglaze things. Started wishing that I had hydrated some beans for this. Some beans would be good with this dinner tonight too, but guess we're not doing that. I am doing beans later on, I think next week. In upcoming stuff in doobly-boo down below info section. If you're on mobile, you click on my logo and go to the info page, and you can scroll down afterward. Or if you're on PC, you can just scroll down. Not sure how it works on Xbox. But I have stuff listed out there for somewhere around. I mean, I don't like programming everything that I'm doing. I like having some stuff so you can guys have an idea of what I'm up to. But at the same time, pre-planning everything just kills the spontaneity of eating what I want to eat. And so I'm definitely going to have certain nights where I'm going to just eat whatever I want. I'm not going to tell you until you show up. We're a little less than halfway here on our chicken. Let's see how we're looking down here. Oh, we're starting to get there. We may have to only go about 30 minutes on this. Can cheat a little bit. Especially since the chicken from Friday's already been cooked. That's already looking nicely roasted. That's already gotten a decent amount of heat. But the stuff that had the meat on it hadn't been directly roasted, and I thought I'd get some better flavor out of it doing that. And the other ones, I mean, the wings need a little bit more time, and the carcass needs a little bit more time. But I'm just adding everything in here slowly at a time. I'm going to add quite a bit more water into this pot, but I want to let everything heat up. So I'm not killing the heat as much every time I'm adding more in there. I'm only added about 2 cups in there, I think. I think this is a 16-ounce container. Yep, 2 cups. This looks like a good amount of soup to make. Add a couple of cups on top of that, but that looks like a good soup container to me. Tacos. Maybe I'll do tacos on one of my off-stream nights here. It's Sunday. I gotta do something for Monday and Tuesday night. Although I'm gonna have some soup. I just finished up the last of the gnocchi for lunch today. And you'll see how much of the chicken is left. There's only a little bit of the chicken left. I made a meal out of that. Okay. Hope here is we don't completely lose our boil, even though I just added a ton of water in there. You still see a little bubbling going on. Come on, little engine that could. Keep going. Let's see. Let's do this in transition so you guys don't see me messing with everything. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm gonna add a little something here to the stream. Okay, that doesn't matter that much. Let's go over here. Let's see. Let's give that another 7 minutes. There we go. That's actually pretty close. It's almost right on for when I want to take that chicken out. Wash my hands. It's been a minute. Wipe off my face before I wash my hands. Probably not the safest advice to someone that isn't well self-isolated at this point. I'm touching my hand and my face at this point. I'm been locked in my house for several days. I start with the vet. I'm waiting until our chicken's ready here. So I might have plenty of time to chop the fancy veg. Free house elves. I think I said that was firehouse elves the other night. Hey, Telex. Waiting on chicken bones to roast in the oven and got our veggies starting to sear here on the stove. Or simmer here on the stove with this stock portion of our soup process. Debating what I want to strain this into right now. I've got a wide selection of pots and pans to use here. It's just a matter of that's sort of like the perfect soup pot for this. Do I go shallower and wider, or do I go actual stock pot? This is sort of like my pasta pot when I'm gonna boil a bunch of water for pasta. I think I'm gonna keep the water level about where it is right now, though. I'm gonna keep adding to keep the water from evaporating too much from this level. But I think this is about how much soup I want to make. Pasta's gonna absorb a bunch of water too, and that's gonna bulk things up. So I'm gonna have to add more water with the pasta too. But that's later on. notes. Killer countdown timer here. Let's take a look at our chicken down here. Yeah. These are all nicely roasted. These are all the bones from Friday's dinner. These are other bones that I had kicking around in the freezer. This is a carcass that I had kicking around, a bunch of wingtips. So I think I'm going to go with that. Even though the wingtips and this are a bit light, I'm going to start getting really dark here with the rest of this. And we're just making soup here. I'm not worried about it having it all perfectly golden brown to just throw it in soup for flavor. Just drop these guys in. You get some decent color on these wings too, just on the underside. Alright. See if you get any juice. There isn't much juice on this pan. But maybe we'll get some out of that. That's probably oil and fat, but yeah, it's just good flavor. Thank you for the auto host, Jamuna. Oh, we can turn our oven off now. That'll cool things down. We can cancel the timer. Need more water. Let's see here. It's about time that I get started with my cocktail tonight. I didn't really plan this through too well. Let's see here. Couple blood oranges. Blood oranges. Way to talk, Jay. And take our labels off of these. Give them a rinse here in a sec. Smelling nice and orangey in here now. All the oil in the zest, the peel here. Almost lost it there. Getting aerated as I cut this. Leave that ugly bottom alone. So we got our nice orange peel for inside of our glass. Wow, that's a nice dark one once we get past pith on that. And let's skip the skin on this guy, but I'm going to use him for juice. Juice. Turn the flame down to something a little bit more manageable there on that. And I'll make a little simple syrup here for our cocktail. Thank you, Telex. I didn't notice that until just now. I apologize. My bot threw me off of where I was in chat. We got... I could have left that in there. I'm going to leave the other half in there. This is all going to get strained anyways. Ooh, sugar. Let's just steal sugar from my coffee. Just do a quarter cup of coffee. This is going to end up being a bit liquidy for a simple syrup because I'm going to add the same amount of liquid as I am going to add. I'm just going to basically ignore that the orange is in there as far as my making a simple syrup is what I'm saying. So equal amounts sugar and water, quarter cup of water on top of that, and we'll throw that on the stove here, bring to a boil. Let's go with the Finlandia. More, I think of my glasses as, you know, what company gave them to me for free. But that's more like a countertop martini glass there. Excuse my cough. You already see we're getting great color out of all this. Boiling a bit hard here, so I'm gonna cool it down a little bit, allow some of that nastiness to settle, and should boil for us a little bit better that way. I'm torn. Do I do this into two? Yeah, let's do two. don't have any fancy ice cube molds. So we'll just do that. Now I'm rethinking things. Now I think I'm going to finish off the bottle of rye whiskey that I've had chilling in here for almost... Oh, I'm not going to finish this off, but work on the last of this rye whiskey that I've got here. So, up to a boil there. Kill the heat. Down here. Small bowl. Strainer. I put essentially the whole thing in there. I squeezed it and then just dropped it in there. It is better if you avoid the rind. It will make things more bitter, but it's sort of... It was more of a laziness move on my part than a proper way to do it. A proper bartender is going to just use the actual juice. They'll use a proper press because they'll be pressing a lot more than I am, and do that. So now that can just sit there and chill down. It's our blood orange simple syrup. Oh, going to add just a few grains of salt into that, just to add, salt unlocks flavor whether it's sweet or salty, so, very little salt, but just the slightest amount in there. Now I'm going to juice this guy just for plain juice. So we'll have flavored simple syrup and then straight juice. So I'm sort of boiled this down into, I'm going to do 2 of these now, so 1/2 of these for 1 drink. I'll use half of it. And just do both of them right now rather than wait. Uh-oh. It's falling apart on me. I know that isn't very attractive. I'm going to get it out of you here soon. Yeah. So it looks like we probably got 2 ounces there at least. So that'll give us an ounce per drink of blood orange juice, along with the simple syrup. That'll be a good mix up there. Let's see, make sure we don't got anything hiding out in our tumbler before we start. Oops. There we go, just show everyone what I got in my freezer. Okay. Lots of ice. About half of our juice here. Let's do a proper measure on our simple syrup. Small side on a jigger. It's still nice and warm, so the ice will have to cool that down. Sticking with the small side here, we'll do Grand Marnier. Are you guys even able to see my board right now? No, you guys are not able to see what I'm even doing right now. Alright. So we got ice with blood orange, half of our blood orange juice. I have just thrown in a small size shot of Grand Marnier, and let's do a big guy of our rye whiskey here. Or if you want to be trendy, you can throw this over the edge or something like that. I'm just going to dunk it in there because I want the actual flavor. And lastly, some orange bitters. Let's do 4. That's quite heavy on the bitters, but I picked those up when I was in Kentucky this last summer. We gotta leave these out for a little later. let's give that a shot. Ooh, I'm glad I went with the rye. Rye would have been a better choice than bourbon. Bourbon would have been just sweet, I think. I mean, there's quite a bit of bitter in this, but it's pretty sweet too. Yum yum. So how are we looking on this back here? Is this back up to a cooking temp and looking happy? That is looking like some good chicken stock color there. That is nice and dark and ooh, yummy. Give my knife a rinse off here from the citrus. Yeah, I actually think I'm gonna somewhat sort of dice these for this. You know, we sort of want our veggies to be soup spoon sized, so I guess I'll do a regular sort of dice almost on the rest of this, even though I cut it intending to slice it originally. And it's not a very small dice here. Pretty large dice, but still small enough that it's gonna, like I said, shooting for fit safely on a spoon. Some people have bigger spoons than other people. So we'll do this more regular dice here, as if I was planning to dice it from the beginning. I like that. That's yummy. It's not too bold. The rye works because that spice is, you know, sort of setting itself apart. I think a bourbon would have disappeared in that. Do you want to sort of try and mash up that carcass and get that all breaking down in the liquid here? set these guys. Let's start sauteing these off too. So I'm gonna saute off the veg for. Pans back there are a bit hot from the oven running earlier. Let's put the stock on the side burner here. Saute where you guys can see everything here. I say the side burner, but I really use this as my second burner, but it's more powerful than the main one that I use primarily. Alright, so we got heat going on that. That pan's already hot because, like I said, the exhaust from the oven was pumping down on that. And we'll sear some onions here. See, is our pan getting warm enough here yet? The handle on it's already warm enough, but seems like the rest of the pan's not nearly as hot as this handle is right now. Got some carrots here. Got a couple of radishes. We can throw a couple of radishes in there, even though they're more breakfast radishes or salad radishes. But they'll give us some nice color. Some carrot. What do you guys think? Do I add some? I've got some pepper. I got some summer squash. What do you guys think I should throw in there? Let's start with sauteing up some onion here. Get a bowl. Throw this in once we're done sauteing each other. Set that off to the side here to start. Gotta stay hydrated, always good to drink, especially when you're drinking. So, yeah, let's steal a couple radishes here just to give us a little color. Let's do 3 of those guys, they're small. Let's see. Do I want to do that or do what? Let me see what I got in future plans here. I don't want to steal something that I bought for future plans that I already forgot. We can use half of that for this. Use the other half with that. So I've got some kale. We'll throw some dino kale here in with our veggies too. The other half we'll use with the beans next week. Love that smell. Do want to check that though too. Okay. Tops and bottoms here. Throw those in with our soup, in with our stock part of our soup, into our broth, into our flavoring, into all of that yumminess. Do the radishes too. Give these all a rinse off. Just do thin slices here on the radish. Like I said, we're just doing this for a little color. We get a lot of nice white and a lot of nice bold red out of these guys. I'm gonna toss them in here with the onions real quick soon, because they're sounding like they want some attention here soon. They're starting to quiet down. Looking okay from the monitor here, but they don't sound okay. They don't sound happy. Let's get those a stir. Pinch of salt. Yeah, one goes a little thick, but we'll live with them. Same thing there. Wow. Sort of like the second or third piece to the end there. I'm cutting a bit wide just about every time. Oops, really cut it wide there. Fell over on me. Really the biggest danger is when you're cutting with things, because I mean that's when you really don't know what's going to happen, is when something slides on you. It's not so much when you're cutting things when you're the way you're supposed to be. It's a little like driving too. Get in an accident when you don't expect it. Continuing to stir the pot over here with the stock. That's actually ready to go here. That's waiting for me and veggies here, basically. Alright, let's cut up these carrots while these onions finish up. I am going to cut the heat there just a little bit. Those onions, I'm okay with the color on those, especially since we're going with soup. Don't want to completely caramelize them, but they do need to split a little bit more because I want them basically ready to go. Those are still looking a little too opaque for me for ready to go. Almost kicked my ring finger out there at the wrong time. Back to using farmers market carrots again here. I have been going, it's probably been about a month here since I had farmers market carrots. Which, these guys are nice and bright orange all the way through. They're nice and sweet and tasty. Got a lot of decent flavor to them. I don't think they're organic, but I do side with local over organic, and then organic overall. Let's get those onions out of the pan and do these carrots separately. Or those onions and radishes out of the pan. Yeah. They're still not completely cooked through here, but they're definitely not going to look too great after we finish with the carrots. So, carrots separate. If you're worried less about getting everything all nice and evenly cooked, this all can just go right into that soup pot at this point. I'm going to let it stay a little separate here and not overcook as much in the boiling water. We still got our flame going there, going to add a bit more oil. All those oil juices sticking up the pan. Or all those onion juices. back up to a decent saute temp here. If you recall, I turned it down because I was trying to sweat the onions and not completely caramelize them. I'm going to draw moisture out of the carrots here, so I'm going to add a bit more salt here too. I think I'm going to leave the pepper and other stuff there for later. Let's do some of that dino kale though. So this is dino kale. Dino kale is the type that's the darker, less curly, and goes all the way down the full stem. Trying to remember a couple other names of a couple other common varieties of kale. Let's double check our label here, make sure. Yeah, lactinato or dino kale. Dino kale is probably inappropriate for some reason. But just snap it down either side of the stem here. So run your forefinger and thumb down either side of it and pinch them together on the other side of it. Pull it down and squeeze it out. Nothing really wrong with the stems, especially if you've got the time to cook them out separately, but they do take a heck of a lot longer to cook and to be tender. I mean, you can saute them up with a little bit of heat and some stuff, but they're not. Typically, you end up either scorching the leaves and overdoing the leaves, or underdoing the stems. So, like the difference between breast meat and thigh meat on a chicken, there's so different in cook time that. Okay, I'm not going to add a ton of kale here. I'm not a. If you listen to my stream on Friday, you heard how much of a fan of kale I am. So we'll leave it at that. The rest of this will be in here for Wednesday. Wednesday. Grab a piece of green garlic here. We got decent garlic here in our broth already, but we don't have any garlic in with our veggies, so a little fresh garlic flavor to go with everything. And just gonna fit on a spoon, rough cut our kale here. Probably go through it twice. Go. It smells like cabbage. I'm going to take the bulb off, going to take the very end off. I need to move those carrots so I can hear you guys. Okay, so while we got the time here, time, doing time puns, and you guys don't even know. We'll add our herbs in with this. So, my thyme, my parsley, and our green onion. And do we want any rosemary in there? We got it, we'll use it. I'm going to throw the rosemary in with the stock portion though, and I'm going to do that right now. Sort of late in the game here, so it's not going to overpower things. That's a nice big bunch. We'll toss that in there. Even good as it waters down. Carrots are almost done here. Oops, sorry for the screech in there. I'm not worried about some of these small stems like this guy. This guy's nice and tender. He's not going to give us any issues. It's the harder stems like that up there. That's so nice and soft. This stuff down here is all woody. So stuff on the tops you need to worry a little bit less about. Getting the stems in there. It's the bottoms that are why we're taking all this time to be careful and nice. We want all those pretty little individual leaves in there too, because that looks pretty in the final soup too. Sprouts are great in soup for that reason. That's why I'm using the kale as well. The kale is going to give us a nice bright green as that is a last minute addition. Really need to move those carrots. Forgetting those are cooking still. Pepper's still fine though. Couple of dark guys in there, but overall we're looking all right there. Bit more oil. Let's do our green onion here. Where'd my pastry knife go? Typically use my pastry knife to sweep the board because it's a lot better than getting your nice knife dulled up by hitting the board in the wrong direction. We'll peel a couple leaves off of these green onions. Which is also a great thing to check when you're in supermarkets. Look at the feet of your, or the roots of the green onions when you're buying them in the store, and see how many layers of onion they've lazily lopped off, trying to keep it looking fresh for you guys. Can assure you there was more than one set of leaves on that green onion when originally got to the supermarkets. Maybe it's a good thing that Whole Foods didn't hire me back in the day. I applied to Whole Foods a long time ago. Long time ago, well before Amazon was even a thing, I think. They apparently didn't like my submission. Overqualified. Okay, finished up with that time now. Get one quick look at something here. See how our garlic is doing. That's still looking nice. The pan was off, so it's not going to keep sizzling there. And add our kale in there. Just give this a quick saute in the pan. Gonna add a bunch of oil to the leaves here, because oil is what's gonna best transit, gonna be our best medium for transferring heat. You know, if you're ever put a computer together, you can sort of think of the pan being your CPU and the oil being your thermal paste between your veggies and your pan. Don't want so much of it it's going to spooge all over the place, but you need enough that you get the heat to go between the two. And when you're dealing with something that's bunched up and crinkly and all different angles and not touching the pan evenly like these are, you need that little bit of extra oil to cook them quickly. And that's all I'm going to really do on these guys. That's enough cooking on these greens before I toss them in with that lovely liquid. Now I'm going to use all the green onions here for garnish. I'm just going to slice it all nice and thin. Oops. Not quite going through there at the end there. Got a little couple of strays going on there. Or strings or strays or... Okay, so there's our veggies for our soup. Good cocktail. So I think it's time that I remove all of these goodies from this wonderful broth that I've created. So grab that and grab these guys. Whatever straining method you got. I use this method for my stock, so I'm going to keep with it. It works well. It doesn't work well in this pot, but we're going to be okay. Cut the heat on the broth, cut everything off here. Don't need any heat on the stove right now. And let's go with an even bigger one to start. Let's break out the big boy and drop the little boy. Smell that the rosemary. Just that little bit of time, it infused all of that with some flavor. Now, this guy's great for picking up a whole bunch of broth and stuff like that, but I don't want to work. But this is just spot welded here. It doesn't even really have a very good spot weld to it, so I don't want to put too much pressure on that guy. So I only use him for the really beginning, basic stuff until I have to work with the actual bones and stuff and move around, and that's a solid piece of metal, so I'm gonna do a little more than bend that, I don't think. Okay. Now for the fun part. Let's balance these and lift this pan up at the same time and try and show it on stream. Are you actually seeing what I'm doing here? No. Okay. use this big guy with the bigger holes to catch all the bones and stuff, so it doesn't. I'm not worried about this guy with the finer mesh underneath getting ruined by all those big bulky bones and all that. And these guys have now lasted me 6+ years of solid stock making, so it's a solid investment to get some nice strainers so you can properly make yourself some nice stocks, some nice sauces. Throw this over here in the sink to continue to finish draining out, last a little bit, and not too much nastiness here on our spoon. I'll live with that. We got ourselves a nice chicken soup base. Yummy yum. And if you're following from the beginning, the only thing that's in here as far as liquid is water and veggies, water, and a little bit of vinegar. So that's all straight from the chicken and the veggies. Bring that back up to a boil here, start the heat on that again. And the last part here for our leftovers is what left we have of our chicken. Do we have anything much left in the chicken? We got a little bit of chicken here. I didn't really think about the soup ahead of time and just sort of threw the sweet potatoes in there. So we'll get a little sweet potato flavor in there with our raw chicken. Not gonna be the end of the world here, and thin slices can drain here of the breast. We'll leave the rest of that for snacking. If I don't finish my cocktail, I can't make a fresh one. So we'll toss in all that lovely chickenness and a little bit of sweet potato from Friday. There we go. So now we're just waiting on our stock to come back up to our broth to come up to a boil now, so that we can cook our veggies or our pasta in there. I'm just going to cook the pasta straight in there. To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't worked much with this egg pasta before, so I don't know how much excess starch there is that's going to cloud up the water. It's already sort of cloudy, unfortunately. I have made much clearer stocks in the past. But not nearly as flavorful as I think that's going to be. I think that's some solid flavor right there. Let's add a bit of MSG. bit of fresh pepper to go with the peppercorns we had in there earlier, now strained out. Yeah. Rye whiskey was a good choice for that one. Okay, back up to a boil here. And we'll add in our egg noodles. If I lost my boil, Thomas Keller would not be impressed. Let's see what's happening in the world. Let's see if it's fallen apart since I started my stream earlier today. Oh, no. Still making news, so the world's still going around. Did a little corn and peas too. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, I got them chilling in the freezer. Why not? Corn and peas are great in chicken soup. So we'll drop in a few of those guys. And we'll finish off this bag of corn. Maybe. Yeah, we'll finish that off. Almost back to having corn again locally, which is great, but it's another one of those things that happens and it's there and it's gone. It's like a week, maybe two. Some farms will have it different weeks than other people, but they'll have it like 1 week that it's good. Sort of got to grow it yourself if you want to have that perfect. What is the saying? You want to have your best corn is you already have the water boiling before you pick it. I do remember a stat in college, culinary school of it takes something like, I forget if it's 20 minutes or 2 hours. Either way, it's sort of ridiculous that when you pick corn, it changes from 80% sugar to 80% starch in literally less than 2 hours, but I think it's like 20 minutes. So much stuff, so much better if you have it, you grind it yourself. It's at the farm. My one that I always use for describing it to people is strawberries. You always buy strawberries and they're in the, hold on one sec here, see if I can't find one of them kicking around here. Yeah, here's a couple of them. You always find them in these guys. But if you ever grown, homegrown strawberries or different varieties, and then they sell at the markets, you realize they grow the ones that they sell at the supermarkets because they can actually hold the weight of the other 2 or 3 strawberries on top of it. You grow your own strawberries, and half of the time you can't even pick the thing without it falling apart. We don't want to go too far here. We don't want to completely mush our pasta here, but still not quite there, I don't think. Getting close, though. Yeah, you still need another minute or so on that. Just about finished up here, though, so gonna have a nice 2-hour stream here, so that'll work out nicely. It seems like my average seems to be about 2 hours in that ballpark. I do certainly have my 3-hour nights, and I occasionally have my all-day Sunday rager and make stock here, so I haven't done that in a little while here. I haven't had enough stuff. This is almost close enough to that. But to do a proper chicken stock, to do a proper stock, I mean, this was a quick meal stock or a broth. To do a proper chicken stock, you need a good 6 hours. Break down all the cartilage, all that good flavor, and all the nooks and crannies of the chicken carcass. Okay. Gonna add the rest of our veggies and meat back in with the pot here now. We'll see how thick of a soup we created here. May need to add a little bit more water here, but like I said, I was sort of shooting for doing that 1 container worth of soup here, and it's a little thick, but I like my soups on the thicker side, so I mean, you want to thin that out, go right ahead, but I think I'm going to live with that. That looks like some good lowliness right there to me. I'm happy with that. So, while the stove brings that all back up to heat here, we'll make ourselves a new cocktail and set ourselves up to take our photos and wrap the stream up here. This was lovely. I mean, there's not too much inventiveness here. There's probably a couple of different cocktails you could probably claim this copies. But to me, I don't really care what the name is. That just tastes good. back up to a boil here. Going to kill the heat. Just let that coast. Ice. So I'll let this soak in the blood orange juice, so it's got a sort of soaked in end of it there. So that's just extra flavor if it ain't pretty. I'm gonna use the last of the juice here. I'm not gonna measure it this time. I didn't measure it the first time. Just used half and half. That was supposed to go in there. Grand Marnier. Blood orange simple syrup. Rye whiskey. Got enough. Oh yeah, just enough. Look at that. Perfect pour of the bottle. Nothing left. I say perfect pour of the bottle, and probably half of it was me just eyeballing glasses into my stomach. But yeah, that was a good time. I enjoyed that. That was a good bottle. I'll have to do another one of those someday. Too many other things to try until then. But and Woodford is in the pricier end, so not regular purchase type thing. So we got all of that loveliness in there together. So there we got cocktail number 2. Hummingbirds will probably enjoy that here in the near future. If I don't. Let's boil ourselves up some soup. Actually, this guy's already dirty. I'm going to use him rather than get another one dirty. Take a picture here for our Instagram. If you guys are not following me on social, kindly suggest you give me a shot. All right. So, thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to go see if there's anyone lovely out there to host. I will be back next week. Starting on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing white beans with the rest of that ham hock I used on Friday, some spinach, the rest of the kale that I didn't use in dinner tonight. Should be a good time. Should be some loveliness with that. And several other things. If you do take a look down there, I've got planning to do a whole pig butchery here sometime between now and June. I've got my May cook along down there for the end of next month. If you want to join me along for that, I'm going to be doing some grilled salmon. Otherwise, thank you for joining me. Hope you have a lovely night, and hope to see you again soon.